Welcome everybody on this meditation on March 3rd.
Welcome.
We're very happy that you're here tonight in this auspicious time. What a week. Of course, we are so shocked by the war, by the images we get from Ukraine. I think everybody is. There's a lot of fear, a lot of confusion. And we thought it would be so good to do a meditation. Now, there are many groups who do meditations this week. It started already on Sunday. I saw some groups, also on the new moon, which we just had. And we will take tonight, but there will be other groups following. Because I always feel that it is so important to create this energetic field, this I don't know how to explain it in English, but it's like holding space for everyone involved. We'll explore some more about this in this video. We will talk you into the meditation later after this introduction. But first we thought we will give you a little bit of explanation why we do this, how we do it,
Yes,
etc.
in fact, when the war broke out, the war in Ukraine, we were preparing our monthly Zoom called What on Earth is Happening. We do every month on the 1st of the 1st, the 2nd of the 2nd, the 3rd of the 3rd. We do a Zoom in which we take you along on one of our journeys that we did in the past few years. And so in January we went to Rwanda together, in February to Egypt, and now we were about to take you to India, Himalayas. And in fact, when we were traveling in India, from Delhi to Ladakh, a war broke out during that trip as well. So the war between India and Pakistan, that was in 2019.
Yeah.
And now again, we are preparing this event towards Shivaratri to talk about this traveling, this journey, and again, a war breaks out.
Yeah.
So for us, we brought these two themes together on this. We'd like to bring what we learned in India during our trip to this moment, this very moment, because we meet the same type of themes.
Yeah. And somehow, just as in the trip through India, when war is there, all the rules are changed. You can forget your whole plan. You have to really adapt to the moment, change your agenda and say, okay, this is now what's really urgent and has priority. So that's what we did as well with this Zoom. We would first only talk about our trip through India, which we thought was a nice spiritual journey, and then war changes everything. And that is so much more on top of our minds and our hearts. And we saw this immensely intensive documentary about Ukraine, about their revolution in 2014. They made a documentary about it. It's on Netflix. I can really recommend it.
Yeah.
And you can see how the people of Ukraine have this enormous courage and power to stand up and to say, we don't want this dictatorship anymore. And finally, after 90 days of battle and revolution, Lukashenko, the then prime minister, fled away and he escaped, and they had their own country. And that's how this kind of courageous man Zelensky came into power. And now it seems like they want to turn that back again. So that's what we're kind of seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I personally don't like to go into politics too much, but see what does this do to us, to look at the people. How are they reacting? What is this inner warrior, this inner fighter of inner truth that is coming out, and how they are processing this war, and how do we deal with these situations in the collective also, and ourselves as well. But you have been traveling to many countries that were in war, so you must have collected all kind of knowledge.
It's so funny. I remembered the first time this happened to me. I was in a conference in Hungary, 1991. And there were some Russians coming for the first time. It was just Cold War was just barely ended. You couldn't go into Russia; it was forbidden. And those Russians came to the conference, and what happened during the first or second day, the coup of Yeltsin started. So Gorbachev was taken away from power. And of course, the Russians were very upset and scared. They couldn't go back home. And then we did this meditation, this ritual. I still remember this Russian priestess doing a ceremony, and a very intense ceremony, praying for Russia. And then we drank vodka, we had a party, and a day later the coup was over and everything turned to normal. Not normal because history takes another turn, but that really impressed me so much that I thought, wow, what did she do? What sort of ritual is this? And how can you relate to a war situation with and do a kind of a ceremony or a meditation or a ritual to create this field of compassion and of love and encompassing everybody, so there's more space, there's more air to breathe, and people don't go into fear and into anger and all these lower emotions, but it's been uplifted to another level.
Every crisis has this possibility to transmit, or transmutate, in fact, to the next level, or we can continue on fighting and really create a downfall together, or we can uplift us all in a moment of crisis. So that's the challenge also here.
I saw last night a clip, we looked at it, a clip from Ukraine where the tanks are rolling in and the people start to stand on the street and they block the tanks and they start singing. And they start singing while they're shooting. So it creates this enormous courage and people really open up to another possibility. Instead of only fighting, they say, we are the Ukrainians, and this is our land, and we come from and we say stop from the heart, but in a very decisive way. Yeah.
And you met several times. I think I heard you tell these stories that during a meditation or in a group, you can really change something because you incorporate everyone, all the parties. You open the heart for all the elements that are in this conflict, all the parties.
Yeah, so that's something I kind of discovered, that it doesn't work to choose a side and to say, oh, but he's the right one and he's the bad one, because then you add to the war. You add to the conflict and to the duality. So you have to kind of hold everyone involved. And like I remember this 11-day war in Gaza last year, Israel, Gaza. And what we did with a group of Israelis, we invited everybody into the meditation. The pilots, the fighters, the victims, the politicians, the bystanders, the one who have only comments from outside.
Nurses, the doctors.
Yeah. And we all kind of send out our hearts to them. We send out compassion. And we were lying in a big circle around an altar, and everybody had this very deep connection to that whole conflict in Gaza at that time. And surprisingly, the next day, the war stopped. Now, like I said before, another video, I don't know if that's the result of our meditation. But over the years, I've been in wars in Syria, in Gaza, in North Korea, in Iran, in India. And I start to understand the logistics of it, which is you give a kind of homeopathic dose of love and compassion. And that kind of has an effect on the whole situation.
In fact, everyone just has to do what he feels he can add.
Yeah.
You never know the result, but in our work we see that we just have to show up where we feel that we have to go. There's a little spider coming off here. We all have to be where we're called to be and do what our body wants to do. Whether that is being revolutionary, stop the tanks, pray, nurse someone or keep the children quiet or save the animals that are in. You have to do just what you have to do, and then trust in the result, in a collective result. And so we do the energetic work, and we trust that it adds to the whole solution.
And very importantly in wars, because you always have a good side and a bad side, is that you connect as well to the bad side. So you don't project the enemy outside, you take the enemy inside. And you say, well, that's also a part of me and a part of us. Like, because it's very easy to say, oh, we are the good ones. And we know exactly, that's a very good normal role for the West, for the Dutch. We know exactly how it's supposed to go. And we tell the others, oh, you're doing it wrong and this is not the way it's supposed to be. But you have to connect to the dark side and to see that that's also a part of yourself.
Mm-hmm. And that also by fighting things, you add to the conflict.
Yeah.
So it is a kind of dark side, if you can put it dark and light.
Yeah, and you have to look at the inner war as well. What is your inner war and how does that reflect the outer war? So if you can connect the inner and the outer world, then the magic happens. Then there's this alchemy. As they say, as above, so below, as inner, so outer. So there's a connection there, and that's what we're going to practice in the meditation tonight.
That's also what we work on. We think that's the thing we can do. And in fact, when we were in India doing our traveling from Delhi to Amritsar, Dharamsala, Srinagar, and to Ladakh, we were just following the signs and doing intuitively what we thought we had to do. And afterwards, so we bring the pieces of the puzzle together and we see, aha, so this is what we have done. Mostly we only see that afterwards. And what we could notice is that, in fact, in this travel to Ladakh, we were following a kind of path of initiation, which you could put on the Kabbalah tree if you want to, or on the tree of the chakras, the 7 chakras. And when the war broke out, we were in Dharamsala, which on this map of chakras would be the heart.
Yeah.
So it is quite exemplary or symbolically the place where, okay, your heart is asked, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to chicken out because there was a long story that we won't tell, but we could have stayed there and stay in the fear, not move, freeze, or we could continue our road along and see how can we choose between fear and faith. And also there was this dive into the depth, faith, a leap of faith we had to make.
Yeah.
And so that is also all kinds of things you see in war or strong conflicts. How am I going to follow what is needed? Thy will shall be done is in fact our leading theme. Yeah. And we felt that very much in our trip in India.
Yeah, and sometimes they say when it hurts, go deeper. So you shouldn't refrain from it and judge it and say, oh, has nothing to do with us. But you have to go into it. You have to go towards the pain, towards the duality, towards the conflict. And the moment you go deeper and you go through that narrow tunnel or this narrow passageway, you come out on the other side. And then it completely opens up and the fear or anger or the war transforms into love. But there's no easy way around it. There's no shortcut to paradise. You have to really go through the pain, go through the uncomfortableness of it or the confusion, because that's also part of war these days. It's very confusing. You don't anymore which story is right or wrong and what is really happening.
Who's the big savior.
Yeah, there's a lot of disinformation as well. So easily you end up going completely crazy with all this
or
talk.
Maybe the situation is so complicated that we have all the different roles in us.
Yeah.
So, and then this dive brings us in the India trip. It finally brought us to Ladakh on Shivaratri. Shiva, who is the big field of higher consciousness also, representing that.
And funny enough, that was 2 years ago on Shivaratri, but now we just had Shivaratri on March the 1st. It was Shivaratri, we started doing already meditation and tuned in to Ukraine and to Kiev. And I think we're now on March 3rd. We're still in that energy. Also, we have the energy of the new moon, which is a difficult energy. I heard the new moon is in Pisces. How do you say that?
Pisces.
Pisces. Pisces. And that can be very confusing sometimes. Many things can happen. It can bring you to enlightenment or to craziness, basically.
Yeah. We had quite confusing days, so probably you all recognize it.
Yeah.
We ourselves were.
Yeah.
Had to keep focused. Yeah.
So, let's go for the meditation. So what we did is we made this movie because our Zoom capacity is kind of small, and our Wi-Fi is very weak here. So we said let's not do live Zoom because that might just fail after a couple of minutes. So that's why we made this movie, and we will talk you into the meditation.
Yeah, the importance is to be receptive, to see yourself as a vessel, and be an instrument of the collective field we are in, and you let yourself be led by what you receive, what you are led into. It might be you are connecting to Russia, might be to Ukraine, might be to Europe, America, or another, or the animals, the women, children, the healers, whatever. You just follow the course, or you feel like you're surrounding it all and holding the space. So we just go into our own part of the story by meditation.
Okay.
And you will lead us into it?
We'll lead you into it, and then at some point we'll stop, and then you can just continue.
We have some music put on here underneath.
Yeah.
Normally there is a link to music. You can put it on if you like. We just go into the introduction, and then we'll focus on and many people also in Russia and friends are joining with us on that very moment.
Okay, so I would love to invite you to sit comfortably, close your eyes. And just go with your attention to your breath. And feel your breath going in and out. And from listening to these stories and these words, you go inside with your attention. You follow your breath inside. And just observe how you are feeling today, physically or emotionally. Where are you at the moment? And I'd like you to go from your mind to your heart and feel how your breath is nourishing, feeding your blood, your heart, your body. And then you sink a little bit deeper into your body, to your belly, your abdomen, your buttocks, and more you relax and let go of daily worries, thoughts. And you arrive in this sacred moment where everything is possible. And from your hips you connect even deeper into the ground. You kind of visualize a long line from heaven to your skull, going through your body, through your heart, through your hips, into the earth. This long vertical line of light. Because we are beings between heaven and earth. We connect the two polarities. And we are the ones in between. And right in the middle, between heaven and earth, is our heart. Like a pump, like a bowl of light. Like a sacred center from which emanates all the energy of your soul into the world. So you can think of your heart as a sun radiating light. And you feel that light radiate through your body, through all your organs and your limbs, your head and your feet and hands. It is the Christ light, or the light of Krishna, or the light of the Mahdi, whatever you want to call it in your tradition. And with this light you connect to all the other people involved. People for tonight who do this meditation. That are all over the world. There are many people in Russia connecting at the moment. Many Ukrainians. Many people in Europe and in America. People in the Middle East. So realize your connection from your heart to all the hearts of all these other people. And you see a network of light starting to glow around the earth. And you can feel the power and the light that is running through all these connections. Now let's focus for a moment on this very specific place on earth, and that is at the capital of Kiev, where there is a square which is called Maidan Square, Maidan, and on that square is a long pillar with Archangel Michael on top of it. And Archangel Michael is the leader of the warriors of light. The ones who battle for peace. The ones who are righteous. The ones who connect heaven and earth and are in service of the heart. So visualize this angel standing on this high pillar, and we make this vertical connection again, but now not in our bodies only, but in the capital of Kiev. And we see the light emanating from that strong pillar of light, protecting Kiev, protecting Ukraine. Saying stop to aggression, this fierce masculine energy that guards the borders and the boundaries, that we need a healthy masculine energy instead of a toxic masculinity that conquers and destroys. So see if you can connect with that powerful male energy. Now, this masculine energy always needs to be rooted within the wisdom of the feminine. This larger horizontal energy of the goddess, of Mother Earth, of Mother Mary, holding space for everyone involved, all her children. The good ones, the bad ones, the silly ones, the ones who run away, the ones who start fighting, who are brave, the old ones, the young ones, the animals. So connect to this feminine energy that embraces everybody and everyone, that embraces the leaders, Zelensky, Putin, Biden, all the European leaders. And see them as human beings, or maybe see them even as children, doing what they think is best, which might be so or might not be so, but we support their soul. Now, we might not know the reason of this conflict, but being an instrument of light, we just support everyone. And we send out compassion to whatever inner conflict they have. And you might want to go or connect to a certain person or a certain group on your own and see what they have to tell you. Maybe you want to connect or talk to the children who are victims of the war or refugees. Maybe you want to embrace the women who are scared or lost, or the men being scared or lost. And maybe you want to give them a hug or tell them that you are with them, that they are not alone. So just follow your intuition, your inner guide to where you need to be at this moment to do the work. Maybe you have to even go to the darkest places to bring light and compassion. And know that we are guided by these angels, by these higher forces or higher beings, Mother Mary, Archangel Michael from the Christian tradition, but we could also enlarge that. Could be Shiva and Parvati or Kali. It doesn't matter which words you give to it, which name you give to God or Allah or Yahweh or to the Buddha. They're all parts of our divine nature. And we are a particle of that bigger energy. So know that while we're doing this work, we become part of the divine. We embrace the totality. And all of us are the children of the Great Mother and the Great Father, the Great Spirit. So take your time to do what you need to do. Just continue during your meditation. Maybe you want to put on some music, some more. And I want to thank you for joining. Thank you for being an instrument of love. Opening up your heart, your soul, your body to bring this healing to this conflict and bring healing to the earth. And we will continue doing this, and we'll certainly see each other back again. So for now, we just say goodbye, but we'll be staying connected through our heart.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later.